Hey everybody, Coach Willem here from Restored Strength, and here's your new warm-up. One thing that's going to be different is we're going to be going by repetitions now versus time. So as you get yourself set up, we're going to begin with rolling out the quads. We're going to be doing 5 reps. And so as I get myself ready, I start on top of my thigh, and I gradually work my way down to slightly above my knee, and then I roll myself back down. Pull back up, and I roll back down. And with this, I want to go to maybe the top of my knee, right at mid-thigh or lower, whatever feels most appropriate for you. And we want to roll down and then roll ourselves back up. That's going to be 1. Then we're going to do the same thing. That's 2. We're going to go up to 5 reps here. As soon as you've done that, what we're going to move into next is the calves. And so to help get the calf a little bit more, we're going to bring the roller out to the side here. So I only have a quarter of the roller left, and I'm just going to start at the mid-calf and roll myself up and down about 5 times. Now I can do one leg here, or I can stack on top. I can keep my butt down. There's a lot of things that we can do with it. The most important thing is doing what feels best for you. And so you can just bend the knee and push that calf down. You can turn from side to side. Either way, we're going to be going for 5 reps. And then I'm going to switch and do that same thing on the opposite side. So I can go single leg, I can go stacked, I can keep my butt down, whatever feels best for you. As soon as I'm done with those 5 rolls, I'm going to bring that roller back to center, and then I'm going to roll out to the side of my glute here, keeping myself tall and tight. And again, for those who do have the range of motion available when it comes to it, crossing your leg over and rolling out the glute. The most important thing is if I'm rolling out my glute, my weight needs to be centered to the left if I'm rolling out my left. So if my knee bends, it's all going to the same direction. Once I've done my 5 reps, I'll switch to the other side, and I'm going to repeat the same thing. Cross my leg over, keeping myself tall and tight. Otherwise, I can have both knees down and roll up and down. 5 reps there. Afterwards, starting slightly below the rib cage, hands go behind the head. We're going to pull ourselves down and then push ourselves back up, rolling out that upper back. We're going to be doing 5 reps here. So again, I'm going to be starting all the way down from the bottom of the ribs and then gradually working my way up. Now, if you find an area that's a little bit more tighter than others, feel free to add in a couple more reps, maybe 2 or 3 more reps of rolling out on that specific area. Once we're done with foam rolling, we're going to move into the warm-up. And so we're going to be starting on our back. We're going to have our knees bent. And I don't want your heels close to your butt. That's just going to defeat the purpose and make it more quad dominant. I want to have a little bit of space. So at least a good 1.5 hand distance of space. What we're going to do next is we're going to pull our low back into the floor and push our feet into the floor and raise our hips up and hold. 1, 2, lower the hips down and push your feet into the floor, squeeze your butt. 1, 2, lower back down. These are glute bridges. We're going to be doing 5 reps, 2-second holds. As soon as we're done there, we're going to move into our single side dead bug. So what I want to do here is my arms are raised up, my knees are held up. I want to take my right hand to my left knee and then drop opposites. So I'm going to go into my single side dead bug where I'm just working one side at a time. Slow and controlled 5 reps. I'm keeping my belly button to the floor. I'm stretching my arm back and I'm dropping my heel. Once I've completed 5 reps, I'm going to switch to the other side. Same thing, slow and controlled. And if that heel drop feels a little too easy, what you can do instead is go into a full leg extension and bring back up. So whatever feels best for you, depending on the level of strength and understanding you have with this movement. Once I've completed that, I'm going to move into my rib grab. So I'm going to stack my knees, and from there, I'm going to turn and twist to the side through that upper back. And I'm just going to hang out here for 5 breaths. So I'm going to take a big breath in. And as I breathe out, I want to feel as if I'm trying to pull my shoulder down even more each breath. So once I've completed 5 reps on one side, I'm going to switch to the other. My hand is going to be on the bottom ribs, my bottom hand on top of my knee, taking in my big breath. Actively feeling for that shoulder pulling down. We're going to be doing 5 breaths on each side. And once we're done there, that completes the groundwork of the warm-up. Then we move into our quadruped portion of the warm-up. So next we're going to be moving into our cat-cows. From here, what I want us to do is drop the belly button to the floor, raise your chin up. You're going to take in a big breath, in through the nose, and then out through the mouth as you go into your cow. So at that bottom, I'm dropping my belly button, raising my chin up, taking a big breath, getting a stretch throughout the bottom of my hips. And as I breathe out, I'm trying to pull my tailbone up, and I'm rounding my upper back, breathing out. We're going to do 5 reps. As soon as you're done there, we're going to move into our adductor rock. So we're going to stretch our leg out to the side. We're going to have our back toes up. We're going to reach our hips back, then rock forward, letting the weight go into the palms, keeping our spine as tall as it can get. And with this, we're going to do 5 reps on one side, then switch, 5 reps on the other side. And then once we're done there, we're going to move into our bird dogs. We're going to do single side bird dogs. And so what that means is I'm going to be focusing on my big toe, my knee, and my left hand pushing firmly into the floor. And from there, I'm going to move my right arm and my left leg, slow and controlled. The goal here is to keep that foot low and that toe pointed towards your nose. And so that way I can get my glute to fire and I can keep stable. I'll do 5 on one side, then switch. Remember, big toe, knee, hand. From here, opposite arm, opposite leg, allowing myself to keep slow and steady. I'm not going too high. I'm just keeping my foot low, really reaching my heel towards the back wall while my toe goes towards my nose. Once we're done with the quadruped work, what we're going to move into next is our standing work. For our standing work, we're going to begin with a hip hinge. So we want to place a dowel against the thighs. We want to start with our chest up. We're tall and tight. We're going to have a light bend in the knee. From there, I'm going to keep the dowel against the thigh, and I'm going to slowly reach my hips towards the back wall, bringing the dowel below the knee. Then I press up and stand tall. So again, it's a slight bend in the knee. I begin to start bending at the hips, reaching my butt towards the wall behind me, keeping my spine tall and tight. So again, as I'm going through this, it's just a single bend, and then the rest goes from the hip crease. I also want to think as if I'm trying to reach my belly button to the floor as I'm going through this. So the weight is being distributed from the heel to the back of the hip. We're going to be doing 5 reps. As soon as you're done there, we're going to move into our squat. So the squat's going to be different. You're going to slightly widen out your feet outside of shoulder width. From there, I'm going to start with the dowel at my belly button, keeping tall and tight. I'm going to bend at my knees, my hips, my ankles. I'm going to press that dowel forward. I'm going to pull back and stand tall. So it's a light bend in the knee, reach those hips back, press out, stand tall from a different angle. Again, I'm tall and tight, bending at the knees, bending at the ankles, bending at the hips, and pulling up to stand tall. So again, I want you to think as if it's just reaching your hips back, and then you're sitting your hips down between your heels while you're pushing the dowel out in front of you. The last exercise that we're going to do for the standing portion of the warm-up is our overhead press. So starting with the hands right about shoulder width. From here, I'm going to just slowly press that dowel up overhead and then pull it back down as if I'm trying to do a pull-up. So I push my feet into the floor, I raise my arms up overhead, and I gradually pull down. So as I'm going through this, the thing I want to avoid is arching at my back. So I want to keep myself as tight as I can as I'm lifting up. So think as if your ribs and your belly button are getting as tight as it can get, kind of like you're in a plank position as your arms raise up. The last portion of the warm-up is going to be our dynamic movement, and that's going to begin with marching. And so with marching, I want to press my foot firmly into the ground, opposite arm, opposite leg, then switch. That's going to be 1, 2. So we want to go up to 5 reps on each side, or think 10 reps total. So I'm tall and tight, I'm pushing my feet into the ground, opposite arm, opposite leg. Once I've done my 5 reps on each side, I'm going to move into a cross crawl. Very similar, but now I'm crossing over into the opposite knee. So I'm tall and tight, hand to knee, 5 reps on each side here. Now I want to make sure that we're going slow and controlled, and we're focusing on our feet driving into the floor. As soon as you're done there, the last exercise in this warm-up is going to be our banded lateral walks. And with those, we can use an orange band or a black band, whatever feels most appropriate for you. I like to start with an orange band to see how it feels for the day, and then maybe later that week I might use a black band. So what I want to do is I want to step inside the band, and then I'm going to cross over to the opposite arms. So the band is going to be crossed. So I step inside the band, I loop one side to the other, and I pull up. So from here, I'm going to have a little bit of a crouch, and then I'm going to shuffle step. 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 5 reps, then work your way back down. So another view would be from, again, a light bend in the knee, pulling that shoulder blade back, sidestepping, 5 steps, on your way back down 5 steps. So the goal there is to get the outside of the glutes to fire, add in a little bit more resistance when you're going through that motion.